Now let's bring the guys in. Ryan Wilson, CBS Sports NFL draft and NFL expert, and our two-time Super Bowl champion, Bryant McFadden. This was over early. I said if this was a boxing match or a UFC fight, this was a first-round TKO. It was over. The Patriots dropped to the canvas, and that was it. B-Mac, why was it so easy for Buffalo? And this is the easiest trip you're going to ever have in a playoff game.
Well, because they had the best player in the ballgame in Josh Allen, and he played that way. From start to finish, EK, he jumped out and was just rolling. He started things with his legs, and eventually his arm woke up, and they had no answer for Josh Allen. And get this, guys, it wasn't like the New England Patriots defense has been an average bunch. That was the team that has been very, very opportunistic. They've been great on all levels defensively, but tonight, Josh Allen made them look below average. 5 touchdowns. They were flawless on third down opportunities. Basically, one missed opportunity. They were 6 or 7 third downs. They were perfect in the red zone. Every time they got in the red zone, they capitalized with a scoring touchdown. Josh Allen arguably played one of the best ball games I've seen him play in his career. And get this, it happened in the postseason. So the rhythm, the chemistry he has going right now, when he's playing this way, it's very, very difficult to try to contain him.
Look, I say it all the time. Josh Allen is actually underrated. He's actually underrated. And again,
I agree.
He didn't even make the Pro Bowl. We picked Lamar Jackson over him. We picked Justin Herbert over him. Justin Herbert didn't make the playoffs. And we picked Patrick Mahomes over him, who for 2 months was very average. Ryan, what did you see tonight? Why was it such an easy trip for the Bills?
Well, B-Mac talked about Josh Allen and all the great things he did, and I don't really have much to add because we all saw with our eyes just how good he could be when you put the ball in his hands. I do appreciate that Brian Daboll allowed him to use his legs as well early in the game, and I thought that helped set the tone and get that Patriots defense off balance. And speaking of that Patriots defense, they did not show up. They did not get off the bus, and it's hard to wrap your brain around the idea of a Bill Belichick coach team. Bill Belichick's a defensive guy, and that defense being an absolute no-show for 60 minutes of football. As you mentioned, EK, the game was over. It felt like at the end of the first quarter when it was 20-0, I think. And at no point did you feel like the Patriots were going to get back in it because their defense wasn't playing. The big issue coming into this game was how was Mac Jones, a rookie, going to deal with playing in the elements? He's a Jacksonville kid, played at Alabama. Mac Jones was the best player on that team. Kendrick Bourne was the second best player, and no one on the defense makes the top 11 players in terms of how well they performed. That's a huge concern. I suppose the good news if you're the Patriots are you appear to have your quarterback, but you're not playing again until next September. The Bills, meanwhile, have just blown the doors off the team that we always figured would be right back in the mix, and there were no answers for them. Great job by Josh Allen, Sean McDermott, and that group. And also, looking ahead a little bit, Brian Daboll, great job interview, should he get one as the offensive coordinator, and you saw it on social media. He would look great in Chicago with Justin Fields. If he knows how to use a quarterback like Josh Allen, imagine what he could do somewhere else should he get a head coaching gig.
Yeah, I would think that Brian Daboll is the guy that you're going to look at first if you're a team and you need a head coach right now. But the Bills still have a lot of football to play, they hope, and not just one more game, but now you're in a one-game elimination scenario. The Bills need to do what better if they want to represent the AFC, Ryan? Where do they need to get better?
I suppose you could ask Tyler Bass to not miss an extra point and then bang one off the upright and make that extra point. There were very few weak spots in that game plan that we saw today. Here is an interesting stat to keep in mind, EK, and I don't know if it's indicative of anything other than just a weird historical quirk, but teams that have scored 40 points in the wild card round and won that game were 3-12 in the next round. So that could be potentially good news for a Chiefs team who might face the Bills should they get by the Steelers tomorrow, and it feels like that will happen. That said, I don't know what the Bills could do other than this. And I suppose BMAC could probably speak to, you blow a team out, how do you avoid a letdown the next week? That'll come down to coaching and making sure these guys stay on point. But there are very few things to be concerned about if you're Buffalo after this blowout win.
BMAC, how about one more quickly from the Patriots? Did they have a successful season? They made the playoffs, but they didn't get a win. They got a lot of guys back. They started out poorly. Then they had this 7-game win streak, and they finished poorly, which is not what you want to do under Bill Belichick, who, by the way, now has a losing record on the road in his playoff career. Did the Patriots have a successful season?
Yeah, they did. EK, Ryan, you guys watch a lot of football. How many rookie quarterbacks made the playoffs? I think there's only one, right? Mac Jones? Anytime you can get into the postseason with a rookie quarterback, that's a plus. That's a plus. So me personally, seeing what they didn't do last year, at this time last year, they were watching just like us. Being able to get into the tournament is a positive season. Me personally, you look at the turnover and also doing it with a rookie quarterback.
Absolutely, B-Mac, and I think you're exactly right. It comes down to Mac Jones because there was a lot of concern about Mac Jones during the draft process, whether he was good enough to even be a first-round pick. He was easily the best rookie quarterback, and like I just said, he was the best Patriots player on the field tonight during that game, and he showed up time and time again. He made play after play. It started on that first drive. Brandon Bolden dropped that ball around the 25-yard line, and then we saw that incredible interception by Micah Hyde on what looked to be a touchdown pass from Mac Jones. He came back and threw two really good touchdowns to Kendrick Bourne, had a lot of balls that were dimes, again, in the sub-zero weather. I think you feel good if you're the Patriots long-term. You obviously don't feel great about the way you played on Saturday night. But of all the things that NFL teams are looking for, it's a franchise quarterback, and they have it apparently in Mac Jones. Now they just need to fix all the other stuff. The defense was good for 95% of the season. They did not show up in Buffalo on Saturday night, and it cost them dearly.
Yeah, I'm going to go the other way. If you had said to me at the start of the year, if I was a Patriot fan, that we would make the playoffs but not win a playoff game and lose 4 of our last 5, I wouldn't have signed for it. I wouldn't have signed for it. I expected the Patriots to make the playoffs this year, considering everybody coming back and their talent in that division. I thought this would be about the minimum. If you had said, look, remember, they were 50-50 to make the playoffs at the start of the year, and one of our best bets was the Patriots to make the playoffs. And then they got there and they got embarrassed. I can't say that's successful. I don't think it's a failure of a year, but this is not one that I'm happy with if I'm a Patriot fan, especially considering I have Bill Belichick.
EK, they did it with a rookie quarterback. Remember, everybody criticized Mac Jones. He has a soccer dad body. He shouldn't go in the first round. He was a product of the people around him. He got into the postseason. And get this, in the ball game, he actually made things happen with his legs. So not too many rookie quarterbacks can lead their team the entire season into the playoffs. And I understand you look at the odds, they were 50-50, but being able to do it with the rookie quarterback with so many people criticized. 4 of their last 5 down the stretch and got embarrassed in the playoff game and didn't win a playoff game. I mean, my goodness, he played against Thor. Josh Allen probably embarrassed a lot of teams. They just caught the Buffalo Bills on the wrong night in -6-degree weather when you had Thor with his hammer just hammering down everybody that was in front of him.
There was a hammer, and Josh Allen was holding it. If only he was good enough to make the Pro Bowl in the AFC. I mean, maybe someday he'll be good enough to make the Pro Bowl. Again, the biggest snub in the history of the Pro Bowl, Josh Allen not making it this year. Well done, gentlemen. All right, here you go. So you can't say who's going to play who next because you don't know. The Steelers-Chiefs has to be played because it's the lowest remaining seed. So if the Steelers pull the upset, they go to Tennessee. If the Chiefs win, and they are heavy favorites to do so, Buffalo is going to Arrowhead, and Cincinnati would then go to Nashville to take on the top seed Titans.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.